Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to get on here and film my thoughts and also applying the new Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation and their new Spotlight Illuminating Primer. I've been using these products for the last 2 days, and for the most part I have been loving the coverage, the performance of it lasting throughout the day without fading. It was tough. Choosing drugstore shades are tough because of course you can't test them, everything is wrapped, and based off what I see from the bottle I kind of gauge what will be my best match. I also picked up the new Maybelline 24-hour foundation, the Superstay, super. This looks extremely pink when I swatched it, and of course the one before this shade looked way too light, and I found that the shade before this one was a little too light, just judging from what I saw in the bottle, and that's why I chose the DW2, that is the dark warm number 2. So let's slap on some makeup, talk about it, and see what we think. For the specs, I am looking at the Physicians Formula website now. This retails for $14.95. Claims are it is a long-wearing, buildable, and breathable foundation that provides lightweight, medium coverage with a healthy satin finish. Because I had mentioned I've been using this foundation, those are all true. It is not full coverage, definitely medium, light to medium I think is correct in saying. Also satin finish for sure. I definitely have to set this. If not, it will look very dewy and probably won't last very long as it will break down without setting it with a powder. If you haven't used Physicians Formula before, as a reminder, their brand is very much about combining aesthetic with skincare benefits. A lot of their products contain really hydrating ingredients, brightening ingredients, just to name a few. In this foundation, is compatible with all skin types, featuring our exclusive brightening complex and hyaluronic acid to hydrate, brighten, and improve the appearance of skin tone. Added boost of vitamins A, C, and E provide a flawless, healthy coverage. Over time, as you continue wearing this foundation, it is said that you will see some sort of skin improvement while wearing makeup. Their Spotlight Illuminating Primer is also $14.95. It is a universally flattering illuminating primer that blurs, corrects, and protects to deliver a radiant spotlight glow. In this formula, it is enriched with antioxidants and age-defying actives to protect the skin against environmental aggressors, optical blurring agents, and 5 unique filtering pearls. Whoa! Improve the appearance of skin tone, making the complexion radiant and bright. The key ingredients mentioned in this formula are, of course, the age-defying actives, vitamin A and E antioxidant blend, 5 unique filtering pearls, and the optical blurring agents. I must say I've been loving the finish of the foundation. It is a tinge dark because I felt the medium shades were too pink from what I saw in the bottle. That's why I opted for the dark warm. I mean, I don't mind looking a little bronze during winter anyway. And with the concealer, it lightens it up a bit. It doesn't look outlandishly too dark on me, so we're good. Off the top of my head, compared to my Sun & Park Beauty Filtering Cream, this has more definitely of a pearlescent finish, where the Sun & Park has more of an iridescent finish. And I must say that they both have that kind of pearlescent, iridescent, some type of finish to help blur the effect of imperfections. It's not pore refining. If you're looking for something pore refining, I'm afraid the Spotlight Illuminating Primer is not going to deliver that benefit. When that's the case, I usually apply my pore blurring formulas to the T-zone area and then the pretty pearlescent, iridescent things on the rest of my face where it can handle it. I apologize for the noise. There's like a garbage truck right outside and it is killing me. For the pore blurring, I'm going in with my Innisfree No Sebum Blur Primer, taking a tiny bit, and I pat that on my nose and around that area where it gets real pory. Right off the top of my head, the Spotlight reminds me of Becca's filter primer, or I forgot the correct name of the primer, but the packaging very much resembles it, and also the claims that it is also blurring with the pearlescent finishes the Becca formula has and all that stuff. You will see in the Physicians Formula, however, that there is just a touch of sparkle. It's not glittery, but once it blends in, you can see the specks. They're very fine, but you can see them. Putting it out there because if you have a problem with that, this might not be for you. For the most part though, I like how hydrating it is, how hydrating it feels, and that pearlescent finish it gives the skin definitely helps to blur out any imperfections. You will still see them, like you still see my blemishes here even while I'm applying this primer. But applying this before the foundation and then the foundation on top, that duo will pretty much kind of help minimize the look of imperfections without having to go super heavy coverage, I believe. Now, feeling my face right now, it doesn't feel greasy, it doesn't feel oily. It's nice to know that all these hydrating ingredients are not going to compromise your skin in a greasy way, but it still feels velvety plush. I did apply a ton of serum and my lotion before this. I'm not sure if you will rely solely on this primer to provide the hydration that you need, especially if you're more of a dry skin type. Definitely apply your skincare first and then your spotlight primer. Now off to the healthy foundation. I appreciate that it does come with a doe foot applicator. If you are a working makeup artist, probably not the most hygienic design to use on your clients, but if you're just using this on yourself, then this is, I find, a very easy way to get the foundation on to your face. Now again, when I saw this shade in the bottle, I was like, ooh, that might be a little too dark, but we're gonna roll with it, see how we can make it work. Because you see already, it's like giving me a very, very warm hue. I'm trying to smell it. It doesn't smell like anything. It does smell like a foundation. It's not overwhelming though. I'm taking my beauty sponge. This is a Morphe sponge. I thought that I also buffed this out with my GOSS #1. If so, that's going to lay on a lot more coverage than the sponge will, because the sponge is going to pick up product, and you already see that because of that, some of my blemishes are still showing through, and I might have to go in with a little more foundation and buff out with the brush instead of the sponge to create more coverage. Oh, look who's tan now. Oh. As I wore this all day and kept seeing myself in the mirror, I didn't look orange. I definitely looked warm. I thought maybe I was hallucinating. I didn't get any orange comments from people. I got really nice compliments to say that my makeup looked really great. I'm not sure if maybe they were distracted by my eye makeup and were noticing my skin. But on camera, I look hella orange. I totally understand. In this natural light in front of my mirror I'm holding, it doesn't look this orange. It is possible I can try the one shade lighter from this, but when it just looked so light and pink, and I wasn't sure if it was going to really just make me too light, right? Spot conceal where some of the blemishes are still showing through, pretty much around there. Oh, I might as well do there too. Before I go in with the blending, I just want to give you a little close-up of my skin. I love how my skin looks with this foundation. Again, it is medium coverage. It's not full coverage. If you're not worried about that full coverage life and your skin's pretty good and you just want some coverage, maybe some warmth, just to give you that canvas to work on, then I would consider this foundation for sure. Especially if you're into formulas that have a lot of skincare benefit in them, then that's a double plus. I'm using now my GOSS #1 from the Anniversary Set Volume 2 to buff in that layer that we applied. You want to see a full review of these brushes? I just finished filming that video. Is up on my channel. I will link that above and below. Yes, definitely when you use a brush with this foundation, it's going to lay down more coverage. It's not going to take away as much as the sponge does. Oh man, I know it looks so orange, you guys. I promise you though, in real life it doesn't look this Oompa Loompa. I'm going to get in with the concealer. Perhaps that will kind of rebalance how the foundation looks on my skin. Revolution Beauty's Conceal and Define in C10. put that, you know, maybe more than usual to kind of even this out. Let me know if you guys have the healthy foundation from Physicians Formula, what you think of it, any recommendations of other drugstore foundations that I haven't or you haven't seen on my channel I haven't used. I will definitely look into it if it's, you know, something worth looking into. It looks a little better already. A little bit. I was also taking a look at Burt's Bees foundation, but the color jump from Warm Honey to Pecan was like major. I'm usually like the honey shade in most foundation lines, but the honey looked a little too light and the pecan looked really not only like 2 shades darker, but very olive. It looked almost, it had like a green tint in the bottle, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know how that was gonna apply on my skin and how it was gonna make my skin look shade-wise, you know what I mean? Alright, I think that kind of balanced out the Oompa Loompa-ness of the Healthy Foundation. Here's a close-up of how the concealer looks blended on the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. I don't think it's not too bad. Not too bad. Check out those wolf hairs. Oh! I definitely love how my skin texture looks, and the texture itself of the foundation feels light. It doesn't feel heavy. I think it's very moisturizing for winter because of all the skincare benefits in the formula. I don't think it will make dry skin feel drier, nor will it make oily skin feel oily, but I think because it is a satin finish, it's not going to cause havoc on oily skin. If it does, and if you tried it, let me know down below. You know, my skin tends to get a little drier during winter time anyway, that's why I gravitate more towards the satin finishes and the moisturizing foundations more than the matte foundations. But matte foundations nowadays are not like the mattes back in the day, like Super Cake Makeup, No Shine. It still has a touch of radiance to the formula and it's not going to strip your skin, so that's good to know. I'm going to powder with my flower powder from Beauty Bakerie in the yellow shade. Oh, that was a lot of powder. Powdering using my Giorgio Armani number 7, or you know what? Hold on. I'm going to set the rest of my face with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder in number 2. I've had this powder for quite some time. The only reason I rarely mention it is because it's in my travel day bag that I carry with me every day, and it usually is in my backpack and I forget to take it out when I'm filming. That is the only reason. I'm going to use my GOSS number 1 to buff in this powder to help set the foundation. I have to use this powder more often, man. Definitely gives that airbrush finish without feeling heavy or looking cakey. Here's a close-up of what the skin looks like with the Healthy Foundation set with powder. Not too bad, yeah? I mean, look at those lines. I'm gonna apply the rest of my face products on camera just so you see how everything blends on the foundation, do my eyebrows and my eyes, and come back. Sound like a plan? Great. I'm going to use my GOSS number 2 brush with the Elcie Cosmetics bronzing powder in tan. I love how this brush applies bronzer and contour. Cool. I like how warm I look. All y'all gave me so many recommendations for more GOSS brushes. You guys! I think it's the number 16 crease brush that many of you recommended to get to further blend out eyeshadows, and also one of you had recommended the 00, which is a bigger powder brush, better suited for all over powdering, or maybe even just more fluffier powdering for bronzer and blush and so forth. I'll look into it. Let's get into the blush. I'm now going to use one of my Makeup Forever palettes that I created in, I think I'm going to just do the peach. Same 02. And same brush with the highlighting shade. Just gonna buff that out a bit with my 01. Here is a close-up of how the bronzer, highlighter, and blush applied on the powdered healthy foundation. Not too bad. It doesn't look too patchy. The side that gets patchy is my left. For some reason, if I'm not careful with how I apply, or if I am not careful with how I set my foundation, my bronzer can apply very patchy onto the side of my face. For some reason, I have no idea why. This is an old number 13 from Wayne. I like to use this as an all-over buffer to just kind of further smooth out. I will, though, just kind of carve under the bronzer to give it a little more shape and definition. Alright friends, I'm gonna go off camera, do my eyebrows, my eyeshadow, mascara, and all that stuff, and I'll be right back. You guys, tragedy has struck us. Guess who forgot to pack her eyebrow pencil? Not only did I forget to pack my eyebrow pencil, but I don't even have a spoolie. I don't have anything. Shadows that I brought, this one brown, is like way too warm. So I couldn't even improvise. We're gonna pretend this is not the situation because again, we are here for the foundation review. I'll take care of this later. Don't look at me. As far as how my skin looks, I'm very pleased, which I loved how it looked yesterday and the day before. I'm gonna use it all week because I just want to experience it fully, to make sure that I know that I like this foundation. I like how it blends onto my skin, how my skin reacts to it, how it looks throughout the day, how my other makeup works with it, which is very important because to have something work on its own, I mean, who cares? If it can't work with your powder and your concealer and your bronzer and all of those products, then it's not worth keeping. For the most part, I loved how it worked with the products that I had today and also the products I used it with yesterday and the day before. I love how it works with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush powder. I think it's a really great pair. Ooh, that sun's coming through like whoa. That's all I got for you friends. Thank you for joining me today for this impromptu foundation review. Let me know down below if you do have the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation as well as the Spotlight Illuminating Primer. For the most part, I really love how these products look on my skin, how well they work with my other products, and I look forward to using it more and just working with it and seeing great results. Oh, hello, surprise. I wanted to come on here. I'm sorry my voice is so low. It's been a long day. I applied this makeup maybe around 10:45, 11 a.m. and it is now 10:59 p.m. Full 12-hour challenge for this foundation. Here's a close-up. Unfortunately, my blemishes started to peek through on my chin and on my jawline here. As far as the texture, I'll let it focus. It's not too bad. I mean, it looks smooth here on my cheek area and my cheekbone. And for the most part, it was very cold today and it was very windy. And I feel because of those circumstances, my skin felt a little more matte, despite the fact that the foundation is a satin finish and has those hydrating properties, which works out because it was very necessary for this type of day when it is cold, and the more moisture, the better. If I would have used something that was not satin finish or more on the matte side, my skin might have been drier by around this time after a 12-hour day. Not too bad. I love how it feels. It feels soft. It doesn't feel oily. Of course, I mean, my nose is ruthless and everything on and around it, I mean, has just disappeared hours ago. In terms of the color, it did not turn more orange throughout the day. It kind of like stayed in that realm. And I think it helped the fact that I applied the concealer on the center of my face and to carve out under the cheekbone just to give it a little bit of light so it didn't look too orange and warm. But in real life though, I didn't look outlandishly orange despite the fact it looked like that on camera earlier. But I wanted to come on here so you could kind of get an idea of this foundation's longevity, its performance. I'm not mad at it. I mean, for a 12-hour day, it isn't bad. In terms of how my skin feels, it still feels soft. The texture is not too bad. Not completely fully covered, unfortunately, but I think it's tough, especially if that, the foundation is not suited for those conditions, then I'll take it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another tutorial, demo, chit chat, get ready with me, or review. Take care and I'll see you again soon.